All right, so this is a story that's going to be breaking. And look, is Trump going to release the JFK files? Now, John F. Kennedy, former president, horrifically lost his life. It was a moment in which this country is forever going to be scarred. I always have to wonder, and I'm pretty sure everyone else is going to be wondering the same question: what would happen to us if he remained alive, if he wasn't taken away? What were the reasons and actions behind his assassination? Why the cover up? Why, for so long, have the American people been denied information about what happened to their president? Perhaps maybe in an alternate universe, things wouldn't be so bad. Who knows? It's a flip of a coin. But Donald Trump has said on the campaign trail that he was going to release the JFK files. If this happens, how much of it will be redacted? How much of it will be seen by the American people? These are things that I am ever hopeful that Trump will just reveal it all. But as we have learned firsthand, never trust politicians to deliver so much. Now, to be clear here, just to be clear and concise, Trump has followed through with his promise to pardon not only his supporters from January 6th, but he's also followed through with some of his other campaign promises. It's a rarity in American politics, whether you like Trump or not, but this will be earth-shattering if he truly does cross that Rubicon. And I know I like using that word, but cross that Rubicon in regards to releasing what happened in the JFK files. So without further ado, he did have an interview with Sean Hannity, and I think it's only fair that we played this, at least a couple snippets of this interview. Let's check it out.
It was an eighth of an inch. The entire ride was an eighth of an inch.
Will you investigate these assassination attempts? And you stated that you will release the files, all of the files, as it relates to the JFK assassination. And by the way, this is his desk.
Yeah, that's right.
This is where John Kennedy, little John Kennedy.
That's a movable door.
Yeah.
It's a little door there. That's where John was.
John, yeah. And RFK, and also Martin Luther King Jr., and that you will be transparent. This was going to happen in the first
So many
time.
people have asked me to do that. And I did it with Kennedy to an extent, but I was asked by some of our government officials not to. And, you know, you have to respect them. I was actually asked by Mike Pompeo, who's Secretary of State, not to. And I felt he knew something that maybe, you know, when he asks you not to, you sort of say, why? And he felt that it was just not a good time to release them. And
notice it's never a good time. And Mike Pompeo, who is Mike Pompeo? Well, Mike Pompeo, former CIA director. Why? We have a right to know. We have a right to know what happened to JFK. And also with the files with Martin Luther King, RFK Sr. Need we go on? You know, I find it very odd that during the 60s and 70s, we lost a lot of influential people that have now been turned into martyrs by the neoliberal establishment system. But yet we never really truly know the details of their demise. Perhaps there's reasons why, because control will be revealed. You know, it's been a long time since we had earth-shattering leaders, organizers, that did shake the foundations of the world. Now, their example to us is that we have to keep on fighting. We have to push forward. But thanks to corporate media, as well as our politicians, many of us were hypnotized into just believing that things are okay now. Let us enjoy everything as is. In our complacency, we allowed those in power to dictate control. I want to rewind this again one more time, because Pompeo is saying, no, maybe it's not a good idea. Maybe it's a good idea just to keep things quiet. It's not a smart idea to reveal it to the people. How many times have we been lied to? Oh, there's weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. Where are they? Russiagate. Oh, no. Russia's influencing the election, even though anybody with billions upon billions of dollars can influence an election. The Hunter Biden laptop story was fake. Oh, wait, turns out that was true. There are things we need to know. And as a great prophet of 2024 once said, I think it's very apropos to play it.
All lies will be exposed.
As they should be.
Pompeo was Secretary of State, not to. And I felt he knew something that maybe, you know, when he asks you not to, you sort of say, why? And he felt that it was just not a good time to release him. And you might ask him why. Maybe he'll deny that even. But he did. He asked me. And some others also, though. They didn't want the Kennedy stuff released. And they're professionals, and I respect them. And they're working for me and the country. They're working for the country. And so I didn't release, but I'm going to release them immediately upon getting, we're going to see the information. We're looking at it right now.
Now, here's something that I want to play for all of you. This was when John Stossel interviewed Mike Pompeo. All right. So, listen. We do have a serious problem here. Stuff has been hidden from the American people. Now, one can make the argument, maybe there's things that the people shouldn't know. But when we've been lied to, when we've been sent to wars, when our treasury is being used to bail out corporations and banks that destabilize our economy, it's a give and take. What's going on? Because obviously the people that are running the ship have no clue what's going on, and they want to keep you very blind to their failings. Let's play this video here.
Why'd you fight to keep the JFK files secret?
Because I was trying to keep Americans safe.
Hey, folks, let's have democracy in the chat. Do you feel safe knowing that the JFK files are buried and that you and future generations will never know about them? Type 1 for yes, I feel safe. I feel safe following the orders. Type 2, no, I don't feel safe. I don't feel safe at all. I haven't felt safe in a long time. I wonder how many 2s will pop up in the chat. Not saying that's the correct answer in voting, but I'll be surprised if I see a 1.
And by the way, don't paint with too broad a brush. 99.6% of the JFK files are public today.
But it was 60 years ago.
John, not everything was 60 years ago. And I don't want to spend a lot of time walking through this, but suffice it to say, the definition of a document covered by this statute that you're referring to, it's a little bit wonky, but suffice it to say, if Congress holds a hearing tomorrow on the Kennedy assassination, the documents generated tomorrow will be part of those files. Those would be tomorrow, they'd be 60 seconds old, not 60 years old. And last thing I'll say is there are things that happened 60 years ago that are still important to keep in the vault. There are lots of things that happened that long ago.
What an interesting concept. What a very interesting concept that they're trying to keep things in the vault. Now, when we talk about keeping things in the vault, what does that mean? That also means that in many ways, as we are constantly being misled, the sad truth is it's another way of distraction. Now, what do I mean by distraction? Well, as we all know, currently there is these ongoing wars and conflicts, as well as an economy that is in a questionable spot. But as there's this tease of will they or won't they release the files, and as it's being made clear in my live stream question, a strong 76% have voted no if Trump would release the JFK files. Now, again, you could still participate in it, for the live stream chat. That's if you're watching the show live. But I don't feel safe knowing that this stuff is still being hidden, buried deep. I want to pull up the rest of the video here.
That still are appropriate not to release. Think of names and addresses and families. And by the way, there's also no value in them. These don't hold the dark secrets that everybody wants to just hold up as the bogeyman. I saw the UFO files too. We've got bigger problems. North America, lots of bigger problems. Just because something is kept secret, why not go to the darkest corners? But it's a lot of fun. I'm happy to go there with you if you'd like.
I'm no expert in this, but it just makes no sense to me. The 60 years ago that there are things in there you
sure.
Like
sure.
Hypothetically, just for example.
Imagine you had an operative operating somewhere in the world who was 20 years old at the time they were doing that work. 60 years ago puts them at 80 today. Average lifespan of an American male, something in that range. Yeah, you should keep their identity secret.
But this was the Kennedy assassination in America.
Right, exactly. Precisely right. Remember what the scope of these files is, John. The scope of these files isn't reduced to just what was happening inside the United States government. The scope of these files is legion.
And I want to pull up a chat here from Jenny Tufnell on Rockman. Says JFK wanted peace and to abolish the CIA. You should have never mentioned the CIA out loud. These ideas will get you iced by the deep state. So a couple people here on Kick are saying, why has this been quiet for so long? Why has this been silence for so long? Shout out to Topher 1010 and Dr. Nick Riviera for bringing this up. Shout out to also my Rumble people as well. And again, remember, folks, they're saying that this file is too big, that there's many other things. Well, if the JFK files are released, well, what else follows with it? What else is connected with it?
Anything that was talked about in the course of, there were hearings in the 90s, there were hearings in the 2000s, they ran far afield around the world. Anything that was part of those files is included in this. And so I had a chance to see not all of those documents, but most of them. The news value of them is grossly overrated, and the desire to keep them secret, the motivation, the rationale for keeping them secret is.
Yes, the rationale to keep it secret, to keep it quiet. I want to pull up this article here as well, because it's not only just the JFK files. Trump vows to release JFK, RFK, MLK assassination records in coming days. In these coming days. So, President-elect Trump on Sunday vowed to release records related to former President John F. Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy, and Martin Luther King Jr.'s assassination in the coming days. As a first step towards restoring transparency and accountability to the government, we will also reverse the overclassification of government documents in the coming days. We're going to make public remaining records relating to the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, his brother Robert Kennedy, as well as Dr. Martin Luther King, and other topics of great public interest, Trump said during a rally at Washington, D.C.'s Capital One Arena in a clip highlighted by Mediate. RFK, Kennedy's son, RFK Jr., backed Trump's 2024 bid for the presidency and has been picked by Trump as his nominee to lead the Department of Health and Human Services. In a 2023 interview, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. backed a conspiracy theory about the CIA being involved in his uncle's killing. And if that's true, it shakes the foundation of the CIA, as well as other institutions, as well as also calling out other presidents that kept the secret safe. But the thing is, I want to believe that Trump will follow through on this. And if so, partial records will be released. We shouldn't be hoping for hope that everything is revealed, because too much, and all of a sudden the system as is breaks apart. And Donald Trump has been a good friend to both Democrat and Republican politicians. And in this day and age right now, where there's a lot of uncertainty, we can never forget about the 2 attempts that were made on Donald Trump's life as well. These are very uncertain times, and I think that we as citizens have that right to know. We have that right to understand what happened, and finally put this tragic event or tragic events behind us so that we can truly recover. The losses of these individuals, these leaders, and again, everyone's flawed, but the loss of these leaders, as well as other events that took place, what will we be as a country if they never happened? If things didn't take place? These are the great question marks that we have to wonder and ponder about. But this also gives us an opportunity to grow and continue on to building a better future. If these lies are revealed, if everything is brought before the American public, then perhaps maybe we can and should teach this to the next generation, to question those in power, to never be subservient, because for a long time we have been. If we're going to be better, we have to stand up and fight back. We have to be informed. I hope Trump follows through with this.